Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So subscribe, comment, share, and like. Yes, I'm in a joyous mood. And no, it's not because, Ted, we got a Christmas tree. We found a Christmas tree today. I know we waited. It's December 7th, but we finally got a Christmas tree. No, it's not that. No, it's not because it was a great week of football. No, it's not because the Philadelphia Eagles lost or hopefully a Washington football team and Dallas Cowboys. But it's because of what I'm wearing. I felt like I was in heaven yesterday. For most of that game, I was in enjoyment, and to see how that felt as a Giant fan. And I've seen a lot on Twitter of people saying, oh, the Giants, oh, they won, who cares? Like, it just felt good as a Giant fan to see, and I kept saying it, it was New York Giant football yesterday. And I also wanted to bring up for one of our main supporters, Jace Garcia, the host of Drawing About the G-Men, actually had a quick little 30-second clip for us. So let's get to that.
Hey guys, it's Big Jace from Drawing About the G-Men, live every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And the Giants just got a big win, 17-12 on the road in Seattle. The defense dominated, holding Russell Wilson, MVP caliber talent, to a QBR of 32 and a passer rating of 78, along with 5 sacks. This defense won them the football game. But my question for you guys, my question for you, Trevor, Teddy, and Joe, is this defense elite? Thank you.
Well, you look at that jersey that he's wearing. It looks like the New York Giants of the 80s and even 2007 and 2011. And that's what I feel so satisfied. Because yesterday, you can see the two New York teams gave us headaches, but two New York teams that are going in complete different trajectories. The New York Giants are sky high right now with confidence. And, well, the New York Jets almost blew their opportunity for Trevor and Joe's second favorite team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, would have got that kid named Trevor Lawrence. But the Jets, being the New York Jets, found a way to keep all those Jet fans surprisingly happy. You don't usually say that a lot for you want to see your teams lose, but they were happy. But let's get back to New York Giant football, because that's what we are. We're New York Giant football. It's back. And I know we've bashed this man a lot over the past couple of years, and it all started even when the Odell Beckham Jr. trade happened. That's Dave Gettleman. And we haven't talked about, I know the defense is elite, but this defense comes into this question all comes and stems back to Dave Gettleman. He's the one that traded for Leonard Williams, that we ripped him apart. He's the one that went out to get James Bradbury, who's become a number 1 corner and should be going to I don't know if it's his first Pro Bowl or second, but it probably is his. He should be going to the Pro Bowl. Blake Martinez has emerged as one of, I don't know, the better linebackers in this game, and a long time coming for the New York Giants. We've desperately needed. Who else? Carter Coughlin, Tay Crowder.
Well, here's the thing. It starts with
real peppers.
It starts with the Beckham.
I know, but Dexter Lawrence. All these trades, all these moves, all these selections have to come back to Joe.
The future is set in Jacksonville, baby.
They almost found a way to win yesterday too. But this all has to stem back to Dave Gettleman, the man that's gotten ripped. He hired Joe Judge. He brought in Jason Garrett too, and Patrick Graham. He has a say in all of that. And exactly, Nico Loss, I think is his last name. Another one that out of nowhere. You got to put the support in Dave Gettleman. Oh, and yeah, the most important thing, because he said something a couple of years ago in his press conference, we want to get this offensive line changed. And ladies and gentlemen, the New York Giants have answers at offensive lines. They have solutions. Let's go as far as that with this offensive line. Andrew Thomas has been brilliant the past 5 weeks. Hasn't given up a sack. Dominated last week. You just look at this whole team. It all stems back to Dave Gettleman. He deserves the credit. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic as a Giant fan right now. I know we're 5-7, but to see Giant football December 7th and we're in contention still, it's so satisfying for me.
Well, I'm going to go back to the question that was first asked by Jace Garcia. Is this Giants defense elite? You have to think after what you saw yesterday. Absolutely. You can't question it no more. Okay? You can't. Joe, we did this right before the show. I'm like, think about the great quarterbacks the Giants have played this year. I'm like, Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't play well against the Giants at all. Got flustered all game long. And that's a team that you, Trev, has said multiple times that Tampa Bay is the best team in football.
I said NFC.
Well, okay. And at one time you said best in football.
No, I didn't. I said most complete.
Whatever. I'll agree to disagree. Russell Wilson, 3-4 weeks ago, we considered as the front runner for MVP. He has taken a step back, but we still know Russell Wilson's one of the most elite quarterbacks in the game. Right now, that's a Rodgers and Mahomes show, 1 and 2, and it's only them two.
Yeah.
You look at what the Giants did against Jared Goff in L.A. Jared Goff has played well this year. Yeah, he's had mistakes, but they shut down Jared Goff. Big Ben didn't have the greatest game early in the season. Imagine what the Giants defense would do against that Pittsburgh offense now in week 11, 12? I mean, who cares? You could tell that this Giant defense is flowing. You have to understand that the first 4 games for this Giant team was preseason. There was COVID. There was no practice. There was no preseason. You had a brand new coaching staff. That is the difference. This team is finally hitting their stride, and defensive coordinator Graham is finding the pieces and putting them in the right position. Listen, the team talks about it. Leonard Williams says he's having fun playing defensive line. Mark Schlereth was on Colin Cowherd this morning, and he was talking about this is the most dynamic, multiple defense in the NFL.
That's one of the most confusing defenses.
They have flustered everyone. Joe, you said it on the show. Was it Friday or Saturday? You and me both agreed. I said the Giants defense had to hold the Seattle Seahawks under 24 points to win this game. You said closer to 17. They did exactly that. We talked about pressure, offense and defense. The defense played above and beyond what we expected. I really truly believe that because they only gave up 3 points in the first half. They set the tone. Brad Berry shut down DK Metcalf. You know, people can talk about that stiff arm. And DK Metcalf doing like this. But here's the thing.
He still tackled him and almost knocked the ball down. By the way, Joe, you're giving a little credit to the Seattle Seahawks, giving them 1 more point. I don't know if you're with Vegas or something. It's 17-12. Don't give a little more credit to the Seahawks. They only got 1 touchdown. But yes, hold on. That Bradbury play. Just go.
And the last part I want to make before I let Joe do his thing
Thank you, Joe.
is this. The Giants finished.
They did it again.
Because I know every Giant fan who's watching this or watching the game said, oh, no, after the defensive pass interference with the holding call, which, okay, whatever, it is what it is, they score the next play, Seattle. And you're thinking in the back of your mind as a Giant fan, O-S-I-T, what has happened? Are we going to blow this game again? Because that's the question you have as a Giant fan over and over. I'm only 33 years old, but I've seen enough games where the Giants have won. We've seen it.
We've seen it almost like this year.
We saw it this year, okay? But this team is finishing. That's why they're 4-0. And the closer closed it out, and that was the defense. And they did what they were supposed to do. And the reason why the Giants won yesterday was not because of their offense, is because their defense, and they have proven why this defense is elite.
I throw out the Steelers game, and I throw out the 49ers game. If you look at the Giants otherwise, they should be 9-3. They should be on an 8-game winning streak, dating back to the first Washington win. If that were the case, had the Giants finished out those games like they're doing now, and we were talking about a 9-3 Giants team with this defense, even without Saquon, even with Jones out, I think you'd still be talking about, are the Giants the best team in the NFC? The only reason we don't is because they're 5-7, and you would feel stupid arguing that the best team in the NFC is 5-7. But take a look around. I mean, outside of the Rams, over the last few weeks, everybody's kind of taken a tank.
Well, Seattle. The Saints are on a 9-game win streak. But listen, take them away from whatever, and that's coaching. Joe, use Tampa Bay. Everyone they've played, they've either had a lead or played tough to the wire. And you're 100% right. You close out that Philly game. How about the Dallas game? Whatever, you lost that. But if you finish the Philly game and you beat Tampa Bay,
7-5.
We're 7-5, and
we're not talking about the NFC East division race anymore.
And we're just not. And the whole perspective of the Giants team is a whole different mantra. And you have a better feeling about it. You're not questioning everything. I mean, Jay said it. You sacked Russell Wilson 5 times. He also threw a pick and fumbled. They confused the hell out of them. The defense played great. And Seattle, who had the 3rd-rated rush defense in football, gave up 190 yards to a team that supposedly can't run the football, right?
Well, and you also knew the game plan was going to be we're gonna run the football. It wasn't like it was some big mystery to Seattle what was about to happen. The idea that the Giants were able to manhandle that team on both ends of football. Because again, listen, we had the conversation before the game on Saturday. The conversation was, where was there more pressure? And Ted said the defense. And he makes the point, look, if the defense doesn't keep it at 5-0, having only allowed 3 points themselves in the first half, the Giants have no chance. But I think more importantly, the fact that they put up no points in the first half is negated by the fact that my major concern going in was, can the Giants offense stay on the field long enough that the defense not just out there for the entire first half? Because as good as they are, and they might be the best defense in the NFC right now, if they're on the field for 40 minutes, I'm sorry to say, you're going to get exposed every time.
It was only
That's just the reality of it.
It was only a difference of a minute. Seattle controlled the ball for, I believe, it was 30 minutes and 11 seconds, and the Giants were at 29. So it was right on thing. Listen,
perfect.
Seattle had 327 yards total offense. Giants had 291. But that's not the point. If you think about the old saying, bend but don't break, the Giants gave up a lot of yards in between the 20s and 30s, but they never gave up any big plays. I said it to you as I was driving up, and I remember the stat. Seattle had the most 30-yard completions this year, 30-plus. It was 21 of them. 12 of them were to Metcalf, 8 of them for touchdowns. They did not complete a pass over 30 yards yesterday. The biggest pass was to Chris Carson for the touchdown. And here's the other thing. The longest rush was Russell Wilson's 19-yard rush. So all the big plays, because Seattle's built on big plays, the Giants held their own. Secondary, I mean, you think about it. A year ago, secondary, we got no cornerbacks. We lost DeAndre Baker. Listen, right, this was a kid that we thought, hey, we're going to put him right on the outside of James Bradbury. We're going to have 2 solid corners. We got Jabril Peppers. We drafted McKinney, who hasn't even really played and done anything for the Giants. Logan Ryan has been – Logan Ryan. I want to make sure –
has been an all-pro type safety. Jabril Peppers has bounced off of kind of a struggle since coming to Cleveland, but last year he struggled. But this year he's elevated. He's elevated his game to another level where the Giants found, hey, we might have 2 safeties plus Logan Ryan. You resign them, plus you could get Leonard Williams, and that's the scary part.
And you know what the best?
You don't even have an elite rusher with this defense.
Pass rusher.
Elite pass rusher, I should say. Can you just imagine if they did have that elite pass rusher? Leonard Williams. We don't talk about him enough. We don't talk about him enough. What was that? Was that
beast?
He's
a beast.
I didn't know what that was. I was like, who the hell is that?
Joe, I will say this, though.
He's been all over the field this entire year. That this man, I know it's a contract year. The man deserves to get paid. He's playing like it.
Let me say this real good. What do you got, Teddy?
Joe, all I was going to say is, and I've been saying this for years, if you know anything about football, and not everyone does know, and actually know the game of football, the middle linebacker is the quarterback of your defense, okay? We have our quarterback in Daniel Jones. We haven't had a quarterback in the middle of that defense since Antonio Pierce, right? If you remember the Giants' defense, Antonio Pierce was the glue, made the play on the screen pass in the NFC Championship game. Blake Martinez is probably the best pickup, other than Bradbury, that I've seen the Giants have in years.
Who's that to? Whose credit's that to?
Gettleman. I mean, and people knock that because they're like, oh, he makes tackles 7 yards down the 7 yards down the road. And I said road purposely. Guess what? When you have 3 monsters of Dexter Lawrence, B.J. Hill, and Leonard Williams, and it controls the line of scrimmage, and you let your linebacker. Just look how good Blake Martinez. They said in the game, only him and Bobby Wagner in the last 4 years have the most tackles in the NFL.
Here's my thing: is that. Well, first of all, Dave Gettleman's not losing his job. And anybody that still wants to think Dave Gettleman is a problem, then you're an idiot. And you're not a real Giant fan. You're not watching the same tape that we are, because Dave Gettleman has made a lot of these moves that these undrafted type players, these 7, 6 rounders who are having a great impact on this team, not even just defensively, but special teams and offensively. And with the hires of Joe Judge, with the hire of bringing Jason Garrett and Patrick Graham, who is going to get, I hope he doesn't leave the Giants, but he is well deserving of getting a lot of interviews this offseason for a head coach. He's well and more deserved it, because he's brought a defense that was piss poor last year, was at the bottom of the league, was a laughing stock, to a defense that's, whoa. We're playing this team. We're playing the Giants. That teams that Kyler Murray is going to have to face, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and whoever the quarterback is at the time of the Dallas Cowboys in Week 17. My thing also, which gets me excited, is even if the Giants do make the playoffs, they'll have gone against every type of quarterback. Let's be honest. They're in this whole stretch. They're going to go against the three most athletic quarterbacks in the league, with maybe the exception of Cam Newton and Lamar, Kyler, and Russell Wilson. Well, they just shut down Russell Wilson in the most high-octane offense, maybe besides the Chiefs in the NFL. Now they're going to play the Arizona Cardinals, who are going backwards, and Kyler Murray is struggling now. And then you're going to play Baker next week, which should be a great game. And then you got to play Lamar. So they're going to have every type of quarterback. They're going to be mentally and physically prepared for every quarterback that they play. I know they haven't played Rodgers. I know they haven't played Breeze yet. But guess what? They've played against every type of quarterback. They're going to be ready each and every week. And you said, oh, maybe they have a sluggish week this. No, they have the right guy, the right coach at the helm in Joe Judge. This guy is no BS. This guy takes no crap from anything. And he's a Belichick guy. Trust me, he's going to have these guys ready for the Cardinals. Cardinals are going to have their hands full because this defense and this team is going in the right direction. And as a Giant fan, and I speak for all of us, we're excited, and it's about damn time that we're seeing New York Giant football. Pass rush, defense, running the football, they're doing everything, and great coaching.
Hey, did Joe Judge make another good move of firing Mark Colombo? Yeah. Because the reason why I say that is Trev was trying to argue. I wrote down they have 7 straight 100-yard rushing games. Gallman had his first in his career yesterday. But when's the last time you think of the Giants rushing for over 100 yards for 7 straight games and actually opening holes? It's not because Saquon was there and he's magnificent. I mean, literally 190 yards rushing yesterday and 31 rushes for 109, 6.1 yards a carry. Incredible.
Joe, my last thing is Colt McCoy. I did say this on Saturday. When given the opportunity that the ball's in his hand, he needs to make the plays. He made the plays when given the opportunity. His stats weren't pretty. We expected him. Maybe not just barely of 100 yards, but we expected him to have numbers that were not going to be like eye-popping. He's going to get a game manager type deal, and that's what he did. He made the throws when it needed, and he did a great job. They also did a great job, especially on third down conversions, because Seattle every time was bringing the blitz every time in that A gap with Jamal Adams, and they did a tremendous job of getting the ball out quick. Evan Ingram, nice solid game. Sterling Shepard as well. But the running game is going. The defense is flowing. If that continues, it's going to be hard to stop this team, because if you can run the ball, keep offenses off the field.
And now Daniel Jones can run the ball too once he comes back. I don't know how much they'll run him.
Well, they said that he's 95% sure that he might be playing against Arizona. So that is a very telling sign and a very positive step.
But I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to rush him now. Winning this game against Seattle almost gives you a little breather. If he's not 100%, you sit him because it's about the final 3 games.
No, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Yes.
You can't risk him not being hurt and ruining that hamstring. And he's out for the season because you won't win a playoff.
But if he's 90 to 95% ready,
you don't rush it. A hamstring injury is something you don't mess with, because all it takes is one, and then he's out for the season, Trev.
You got to keep the pedal to the metal.
Trev, Colt McCoy just went to Seattle and can win. This is the person on Saturday said they have no chance probably to win the game, and they proved me wrong as a Giant fan. Okay? So if that means that Daniel Jones has to sit another week and he's there for the stretch run, because that's the most important, because you want him for the playoffs. If he comes back against Arizona and hurts his hamstring again, he's done for the season.
We got to get to the playoffs first.
Hold on, be quiet now. Listen, first of all, I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't want your answer right now.
Him?
You, Trevor.
Me? Okay.
Can the Giants win the Super Bowl this year? Sit on that for a minute and don't answer it until I'm done with what I'm about to say here. You can think about it too, Teddy, because I'll be curious how you think. Couple things. First of all, on Colt McCoy, he did everything he needed to do yesterday.
Exactly. Yep.
And even the pick, it was a familiar scene in New York. It certainly wasn't on him, that interception. Incidentally, Shepard and Ingram, 5 receptions on 14 targets. Everybody else, 8 for 8. Where's the problem right now with the Giants receiving core? I'm not sure that it's the quarterbacks, and it's starting to get a little more obvious. That stat did come, by the way, courtesy of Jace Garcia from Drawing About the G-Men, who this week on his fantasy lock picked Colt McCoy. And I said, if you want to be bold and crazy, pick the Giants defense. Colts scored 8.4 Giants. Defense scored 12. I win. Speaking of the Giants defense, Leonard Williams, I said it all last year watching, Teddy, you know this better than anybody. The just what he did last year, and I know the numbers weren't there and it was frustrating. You started to see more hits and pressures later in the year, and people were like, he's a bum. The disturbance that guy creates up the middle is unbelievable. And you put him with those other big boys, you get some decent linebackers, and look what you got. A really great defense. And by the way, Blake Martinez, you're exactly right. I remember everybody was super underwhelmed at that signing. He seemed like one of those compiler tacklers. His motor is all pro.
His leadership.
I don't know if he's going to be in the all pro, but that's guys with a motor like that run sideline to sideline on every play and don't give up. Those are guys that you see. Those are guys you see in the Pro Bowl, and rightfully so. On the topic, by the way, of Patrick Graham, don't forget how good the Dolphins defense is now. It's almost you almost want to forget those guys are playing great football as well, and he's already got these guys doing what those guys couldn't figure out last year. He's already got the play in motion. It's almost good that he wasted some time in Miami teaching a bunch of slackers how to be good.
They went up to New England. You think about that, Joe. That's the tone setter. Patrick Graham and that Brian Flores win with Fitzpatrick week 17 against New England was a tone setter for them. And Patrick Graham and that defense shut down Brady.
And look at the Dolphins and look at the New York Giants right now. It's fascinating. To answer your question, Joe, I told this to Ted, actually. I have 3 scenarios of the NFC Championship, and 2 of them consist of the New York Giants in them. And the other one is against the Packers Saints, and the other one is Giants Saints or Giants Packers. Because the way this defense is playing and with this running attack, it feels like 07, it feels like 11, and their defense is better than they were in 11. Their defense wasn't that good, but their running attack. And Daniel Jones will be like an Eli because he doesn't have to do too much. He just needs to make the plays.
The problem is there is no Plaxico Burress, and there is no Victor Cruz on this receiver. And that is the reason why it's going to hurt them in the playoffs, because I said it before, and I'm not knocking your point. But to be honest, at the end of the day, we said this, Joe, on Saturday. Your quarterback's going to have to make a play.
We've been saying this all year. We've been saying this.
Yeah, but can the receiver get open?
Trevor, apologize to Ted because, listen, if you truly think that the Giants are a Super Bowl contender, then you don't. If Jones isn't ready to go, look, it's not worth him playing against the Cardinals. It's not. If you believe that the future is now, then you let him sit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's my thought. If he's not 100%, you could, because here's why. Kyler Murray, you mentioned, has been struggling and took a step backwards, and he's been doing it against defenses like the Rams. The kinds of defenses that when I watch other teams play where I'm thinking the Giants are really good. That's one of the defenses I compare it to. Again, you saw that team able to handle Kyler Murray. So whether Colt McCoy or Daniel Jones starts this week, I still think the Giants have a legit chance to beat the Cardinals. They'll have to. It's going to be the same game plan. It still happen.
We're laughing with Jason's comment because it is true. Every week, every freaking week. And I was just thinking, I could see the Giants doing it because of what we talked about each and every week with the NFC. The NFC is wide open. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Saints, that defense. You want to talk about great defenses? The Saints defense is legit. And with Rodgers and that offense clicking, Rodgers, by the way, just fastest quarterback to get to 400 touchdowns. So shout out to him and an illustrious career, continued illustrious career. Those are the only 2 teams I can really see it. We just went against Seattle. So what makes you say we can't beat Seattle again? Tampa Bay, we were right there. So what makes you think we can't beat them? The Rams, we were right there. What makes you think we can't beat them? We haven't played the Saints and Packers, so I can't answer that. But
again, when you look at
the flaws of every team, the NFC is wide open for the taking.
In 2007,
with the exception of maybe the Saints.
Absolutely. In 2007, this was a pretty similar situation, except for the Giants were 10-6. That's the only difference here.
But they started 6-2, and then they had that.
Sure, right. Listen, everybody wanted Eli on the bench, and everybody wanted Coughlin out of town at the time. And I remember all of the, and we've talked about this. All the teams that they ended up beating the playoffs were all games that During the regular season, I thought, man, they played with these guys. They could beat these guys. And when it came down to it, I never doubted. And it's funny. I mean, I like to think I'm a very objective fan. Again, I said 17-16 for this game. That's where I thought it could get. That was my best case scenario for the Giants. I mean, that was how they were going to have to win this game, and they did it. They continue to do it. They show me week in and week out the kind of team they are.
That's what I'm saying. The coaching is there. The Giants have the coaching. Just look at the coaching staff compared to what was the past couple of years. The reason why the Giants are in the situation they are now, in the past years, they've been a laughingstock, is the coaching. And the players are buying into Joe Judge, as in every Giant fan should buy in to Joe Judge, because it's working and it's going in the right direction. I'm excited. By the way, quick stat before we get into something else.
I don't think that's a bad comment, though, either, because I'm telling you, that's why, like, in the Giants and everyone else, that's what keeps the NFC open. Because here's the thing.
There's no crowd.
You're going to go up to the Saints. If you have to play the Saints, you don't have to worry about the crowd.
I think they have
and that's huge, because we all know what it's like to play in that.
But not a big crowd.
Yeah, it's a small.
But you, Joe, you
have some crowd, but
you got to go to Lambeau. You don't have to worry about 70,000 people up in Lambeau. When you go into wherever you have to go, you don't have to worry. And if we know anything about Giant fans, we'd rather be on the road than home. We play better on the road. That's what we did when we won the Super Bowls. We don't like to be the number one seed.
We have one playoff game.
We want to be the underrated team.
A quick step before we get into it, and which will lead to my next point, is longest winning streaks currently in the NFL. The Steelers, 11. They're going to the playoffs. The Saints at 9. They're going to the playoffs. The Chiefs at 7. They're going to the playoffs. The next two teams look like they're going to the playoffs. Tied with 4, the New York Football Giants and the Cleveland Browns, with maybe the most surprising victory. I don't know which one was more surprising. I'd say this one was more surprising than the New York Giants.
No.
I mean, with the way this.
You thought the Browns was a more shocking
because you were the one that.
Yes. Look at the final score, and you're like, well, I mean, it was 35-14. I mean, they blew them out of the water.
38-7 at half.
Right. Again, dude, they blew them out. This game wasn't even close. Again, no. I wrote Giants upset Seattle because I was not in the least bit surprised when that game ended. This game, I was like, well, you look at that.
Yeah, if I remember, it was Ted that said the pressure was on Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield came up clutch.
Oh, yeah.
And then huge. And you see this team right now, they're very formidable in an AFC that, yes, the Chiefs are there, and the Steelers are dealing with some injuries. And with Big Ben, we're going to see with today's game against Washington, if he's still playing or not. I know it's questionable. But the Cleveland Browns right now, 4 straight game winning streak. They're running the ball successfully. I've said this. The reason why I say the Browns are a better team and why the Cardinals need Kyler Murray to do more is because you just saw it firsthand yesterday. The Browns.
Well, here's the difference. Mayfield did more, and it just showed how
that running game was elite. The defense caused turnovers. Derrick Henry fumbled for the first time since last year. He was human, which was stunning. And I could speak for all of us. We were all on the Titans this week. Am I right?
Oh yeah,
we were all on the Titans. So we all expected the Browns. I thought the Browns. We all expected the Browns to get probably killed.
I did not expect them to get killed. I thought it'd be a closer game. I just thought the Titans would win because me and Joe had both said we prefer Tannehill over Mayfield. We don't have trust in Mayfield making the throws. Listen, when Mayfield plays this good, this Browns team has a legit chance to go to the Super Bowl and win it. With the running game that they have, if your quarterback can play like he did yesterday, no mistakes, and he just plays well and plays within himself, it makes a huge difference. Now, them up 38-7 and having the game again outscored 28-3 in the second half scares me a little bit. But this is a team that's not used to being up like that. They don't know what it's like to be up this many points.
The thing is, they should take a page out of the New York Giants. They have to finish. And they're going to have games.
Look, hold on. Honestly, though, the difference is, you know what? When you put up 38 points and sit, that's fine. When you put up 20 points like the Giants do and sit, you're asking for trouble. If you would have told me that this game ended 41-35, I would have guessed that the Titans had won it and that Baker threw a last-second, 50-yard bomb from the into the end zone to get the score. I would have never believed he would put 40 up on the Titans. But I think it's a lesson to the Giants that if this untalented clown can do it, Daniel Jones can do it. Let him rip, son. Because this is my – hold on. My other issue, look, Look at the way everybody else is aggressive. They go for it on fourth down constantly. You would think the Giants were like 13-0 the way they play. They're so conservative all the time, and it's like, dude, one more loss and the season's over. Like, legit, one more loss, your season might be over. Why are you, like, not taking a shot with 40 seconds left at the end of the first half? Seattle, but I'm saying, dude, Seattle just started chucking the ball down. Like, they don't care. Why do the Giants play a different brand of football than everybody else? No trick plays, same running. It's 2020. You got to keep up a little bit.
Joe, I know, but they're comfortable in their own. They're simple, and that's how they've always been. They're conservative, and they're comfortable in their own skin, and they're never going to change, Joe. They are never going to change, just like the uniforms and all the other stuff. They are old school, boring standards.
It's going to be hard to win then.
Oh, I know, but listen,
they did it the boring way the past couple of times.
Other than the 2 Super Bowls in '86 and '91, when was it ever easy for the Giants to win games? You know what I mean? When is it, as a Giant fan?
They ran a big flea flicker in the Super Bowl in '86. You'll recall. I mean, they ran trick plays all the time with Bill Parcells.
That's Parcells.
Everybody's doing it now. I don't know why. Just again. When you've got Colt McCoy or you've got a Daniel Jones who early in the year you were just really limited in what he could do or you'd let him do, to not throw a trick play in just to show it, even if it gains 2 yards or it loses 3, just to show it, just to know that on a play action pass, hey, maybe I am going to do something crazy here. Otherwise, no one's going to fall for it.
More power to the Browns.
Well, when the Giants do it in the wild card game and they score on it, Joe Judge is going to point up to the stands and go, Joe, we did it for you.
Joe, this is for you. No, but
I mean, look, everybody practices trick plays during the week. I just think if you're the Giants, hold on, just saying you're the Giants, you go in 4-7. Why wouldn't you do something?
They still want.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Is my question.
I do like the Browns let Baker let it loose. I mean, 4 touchdowns in the first half. By the way, Joe, you had him in fantasy, even though you beat me. So,
you played Joe this week?
Yeah, my season's over.
Joe, you had
I
Mayfield.
lit him up.
Joe, did you have Mayfield?
No, you had Wilson. You had Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Hey,
Baker and Rivers on the bench.
But my thing is, for the Cleveland Browns,
bad manager, bad coach.
Hey, a win's a win, right? A win's a win.
A win's a win. I also had David Montgomery on the bench in favor of David Wilson, who racked up 8. Montgomery had 25. I couldn't have been any.
From the Giants? Wait, David Wilson from the Giants out of retirement?
No, what would I just say?
David Wilson. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm like 100 years old. Not Montgomery, David Montgomery, whatever his name is.
No, what I was gonna say for Cleveland, it's nice that they got.
I almost said they all look the same, but I didn't. I meant football players, not
that was the
American athletes. That would have been. I didn't say it, and I'm glad I didn't because that would have been.
My thing is about taking the Browns seriously, though. My thing is, I want to just get to it. Is they have to find ways because you're not going to be in scenarios where you're going to be up 38-7 once you get to the playoffs. They're going to the playoffs. They're no matter what you want to say, they can finish 9-7. They're still going to the playoffs.
They'll be the top wild card. Probably.
And that's the thing.
They're still playing Titans right now. That's the matchup right now.
They're not going to have games like this where you're going to be up 38-7. So they have to find ways to finish. They have to find ways to continue the ways of how they got into this formula of winning, which is continue to run the football with Nick Chubb, dominate with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and that defense, rely on it with Myles Garrett back, who had a sack and had his presence felt yesterday. This team could be dangerous in the AFC.
Well, here's the other thing, and I'm going to steal from someone else that I read about and heard on the TV, was the Browns have a top 3. This is rated. This is by NFL experts and Pro Football Focus. The Browns have a top 3 rated offensive line, both in rushing and pass blocking.
They have a good offensive line.
So when you take the whole 5 and they're rated out, they have the top 3 offensive line with rushing and with pass blocking. So let's listen. Baker Mayfield has it all set up for him to succeed. You have one of the top offensive lines, both rushing attack and pass blocking. You have 2 studs in the backfield. You have a stud on the outside with Jarvis Landry. Donovan Peoples-Jones from Michigan had another nice game yesterday. They played much better since Odell Beckham's injury, which is
4-1.
Which is kind of scary to think because you're like, how can this team play better when one of your best players is out?
Because look at, I'm telling you, having a star receiver like that who grabs the attention. Look at the Buccaneers. They haven't been the same since Antonio Brown. I know why you say, Antonio Brown's a great player. I'm not saying that. When you have so many talented players on your team, you have to find ways to get them the ball. And when an Odell Beckham Jr. is on your team, he wants the ball. He's a playmaker when the ball is in his hands. When you get him, you never want to see him get injured the way he did. But now with that, you don't have to rely on, oh crap, I have to get the ball to Beckham. I have to force it to him sometimes. Like, he can dink and dunk the ball to Jarvis, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Austin Hooper. I think Njoku's still playing, but that's the thing. When you have a star, he's been great, Jedrick Wills, by the way. When you have a star like that, there's a lot of pressure on you as a quarterback. Just look at Eli Manning. I mean, Eli had to face a lot of pressure because you had Odell Beckham and the peak of his, like, that's when he was at the best of it. That's a lot of pressure. Now he doesn't have that much pressure. Now he just has to get the pressure of everybody saying, well, guess what? Go try to throw the ball and win a game and stop being crap. And he did that yesterday. They found a way to win, and he played well, and he was a big part of it.
Hey, listen,
impressive win by the Cleveland Browns and an impressive win by the New York.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead, Joe.
This was an important win for him because Baker Mayfield, Baker Mayfield could still, by the way, still pull a Tim Tebow, win a playoff game, and still be out of a job next season. It's still possible.
It is. Depending on, but here's the thing. It sets up well. They got Baltimore next week. Huge game for them. And it's just like we told with the Giants. It's all about building momentum toward the end of the season. Where are you trending? Are you trending up or are you trending down? And right now, the Browns and the Giants are trending up. And both teams should continue that momentum going right to the playoffs.
Do we consider both these teams legit threats in each respective conference?
I think this. If the Giants have a better defense, so that gives the Giants every week in and week out a chance to win the football game. If your defense can play like it did yesterday, I don't care who you're playing, you're going to give yourself a chance. Now, the Browns Russian attack can do the same type of thing. You can do what Tennessee did. If you can control the clock, Joe, and that's something that you said about the Giants, if you can control the clock and Mahomes and Russell Wilson ain't on the field, they can't score points. And then what you said about Colt McCoy, and Baker Mayfield is going to have to be a Colt McCoy. Don't screw the game up for. I mean, I don't know where the stat. I had the thing from Bill Barr says. We don't need him to win the game. We just don't need him to lose the game. Play efficient. Make the third down throws when we ask you to, and that's it.
And that's what that's what both teams did, and that's why both of those teams on this Football Monday are victorious and not in the L column. So an impressive 2 wins, 2 of the most impressive wins of the entire football season, the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants. Job well done to both teams. I just want to finish off with something very quickly. I can't say that for the other New York team. My God, that is just absurd. It's just comical what's going on with the New York Football Jets, I should say. It's just comical. Terrible. You're a happy man too. Right, Ted? You're a happy man. Ted, you're silent. Why are you not speaking? I don't like when he doesn't speak. It gets me nervous when he doesn't speak. He's still not speaking.
I don't mind it at all. Listen, I keep saying, and I'll insist upon this, I think it's going to be harder for the Jets to go 0-16 than it will be for the Steelers to go 16-0.
No,
But hold on. Week in and week out, the Jets are doing what I say it takes, is to show incompetence at every single level. And to have a lead like they did, and to still find a way to blow it, and to blow it I mean, you can't even excuse. I mean, how did that even happen? Are you guys kidding me? Unbelievable. I mean, the Jets suck.
Joe,
there's no other way to say this. Jets suck.
Joe, it answered your question. The Jets are purposely trying to lose. And if you don't think they're going to not go 0-16, yesterday proved that to you. They're literally trying to lose to get Trevor Lawrence.
2 plays in a row they could have scored.
No, they're not.
No.
They're not trying to lose. I refuse to believe it.
If you're the head coach of your football team and you're up by 7, aren't you telling your defensive backs don't let anyone get behind you?
Yeah, but wait a minute. Now, you're assuming I'm a coach who showed any competence in the NFL at all in your career.
Joe, I know you might not have been up.
Big assumption.
But here's the thing. If you go back in history,
yes,
Greg Williams, this is not the first time he's done this. Go back against multiple Hail Mary games. They showed it last night on Scott Van Pelt show. He did it when he was the Saints coach. He did it when he was the Rams coach. He has done it with the Browns. He's done it multiple times when up by a touchdown with less than 30 seconds to play. He runs a cover 0 blitz. He brings the corner off the thing.
No safety over the top either.
All the other times he's run it, it's worked because the quarterback had to scramble and couldn't reach the end zone.
Well, you got to be realistic. You got to be realistic.
And the problem is, Derek Carr, if anyone had any pressure up the middle, he should have got sacked. But listen, when it doesn't work, like we always say,
Well, it doesn't help that he has the Jets defense and not the Rams and at the time, which was a good defense. That's what it comes down
But
to.
again, listen, if you're 13-0, you're like playing back in the right. I mean, look, again, I mean, if you're the Jets and you're trying to get a win, I mean, the easy play is everybody stand at the goal line.
Oh, I know, Joe. That's what the obvious answer is.
That's it. Make sure they don't get there. That we got to win this game.
That's why Greg Williams doesn't have a job today. Plain and simple. And Adam Gase, when they asked him, like, did you know what he was calling? He was like, yeah.
That guy's a moron. That guy should not be
Listen,
coaching. That guy should be working.
If you're the head coach, you override him. Because I guarantee Joe Judge.
Well, if you're the head coach and he says it and you agree, you should be fired. And he should be fired.
So they're not firing him because if they fire him, what has happened, we should, just like the Lions yesterday, the teams play hard and they win it for the scout team coach for the rest of the season. The Jets are trying to lose. They want to keep Gase because they know the incompetence to Adam Gase is going to let them go 0-16. If they fire him, whoever the head coach is, watch, the Jets will win next week and you'll be like, we got to win for the scout team coach, just like the Lions yesterday. Darren Bevel, coach for the Lions. After they filed Patricia,
down 10 points, came back to win. Yeah, those
Bears. You know what? I've got a perfect solution. You want to hire you want to fire Gase, hire a coach they won't play for, hire Lou Holtz.
You're killing me.
You want to talk about a guy who could definitely not win over a locker room quick? That's your man. You want to Lou Holtz could help them go 0-17 somehow. That's how bad it would be.
You're more competent than Adam Gase. All I know is we're happy Giant fans today.
And we could talk another week of Giant football in a blessing win.
We're going to be back before Thursday night's game because Thursday night is a very, very interesting game from a standpoint of how legit are the New England Patriots? And if so, how far can they actually go with Bill Belichick? It's just proving why he is Bill Belichick and the GOAT. Yep, Joe, I know you love that picture.
Put it away,
We'll
Joe.
talk about that later in the week. Joseph, as always, thank you, buddy.
Just had to slip that one, and I'll catch you guys later.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So subscribe, comment, like, and share. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City on this beautiful Victory Monday. We are Keys to the City. We are out.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.